What is interesting about this, we've had several tornado warnings, and now we just get a tornado watch that has been issued into much of Kentucky, and I'm going to check and see exactly when this goes. This includes the Lexington area, so this brand new tornado watch that is out into central and western Kentucky. Boy, that covers a lot of real estate. Goodness gracious. That may be 2 watch. Nope, that's one large tornado watch that you see there, and it goes until midnight tonight. That is a long duration tornado watch that is out across the area. So that, again, is going to go until midnight tonight. That includes the entire central part of Kentucky, western Kentucky, and all the way down into parts of central Tennessee as well. My goodness, that may be one of the larger tornado watches that I have seen here across central and eastern Kentucky. So we'll get this plotted for you guys, because again, these storms are now beginning to flare up, and that just literally being issued while we were on the air talking about that tornado warning that is out into parts of southern Kentucky. So this goes until midnight into parts of the Bluegrass region. Eastern Kentucky, can we get that extended? Let me put that on a different layer, but we will see if Eastern Kentucky can get included in that. Chances are, as this storm gets, or the storm system heads more to the northeast, Eastern Kentucky are not going to have the storms that are as severe as what we're dealing with here across parts of central Kentucky. So your tornado watch now goes until midnight. You can see all the areas that are included in this. That is Lexington, Frankfort, Richmond, Danville, Somerset, and West. That gets into the Covington, Cincinnati area, Louisville, E-Town, Bowling Green, Owensboro, back into Paducah, and down into Nashville, Tennessee. So until midnight Eastern time, that is 11 o'clock Central time. Tornado warnings, looks like a new tornado warning here into western Kentucky, maybe Christian, Todd counties on that one. So again, every storm that is going up is now starting to spin. That's the concern. This is why we put out that first alert weather day yesterday for today, and the potential, the increasing threat for tornadoes with this. This is not much of a large hail threat. Yes, some of the storms can have damaging winds, but the main reason I put out this first alert weather day in advance was the potential for these storms to start to spin. And that is exactly what we have been seeing this afternoon. You're getting supercell thunderstorms that are spinning coming out of Tennessee and into Kentucky, and additional thunderstorms are now beginning to develop. So here's your first alert radar network. Notice into eastern Kentucky, these thunderstorms just a little more spotty in nature. You look for the congregation of lightning. Look at all the lightning coming with this supercell thunderstorm that is holding its own. Now, so far, we've not had any reports of tornadoes with this particular cell, but we look inside that and it continues to show rotation, and that's what we look for. We look inside that storm to see exactly what is going on with it. That tornado warning goes until 2:45 this afternoon Central Time, 3:45 Eastern Time, Adair, Cumberland, Russell counties, and that storm is lifting its way right now into southern parts of Adair County. The radar, by the way, where you see it picking up on some of the white there, that is indicative of what the radar says. Hey, I see the potential for large hail with this thunderstorm, in addition to the threat that this is rotating. So now your tornado warning, by the way, this does not include Lake Cumberland. It is oh so close. It does get into Russell Springs. This is the Cumberland Parkway area that goes from Columbia and into the Russell Springs corridor and extends back to the west. But overall, if you're watching us right now into Glens Fork here, southern parts of Adair County, boy, you need to be into that safe shelter, and you need to be there immediately. And likewise for folks who live into the Russell Springs area of Russell County as well, with the possibility that we're going to continue to see these storms rolling on through to the northeast. That is a supercell thunderstorm. Now, as we look inside this, we got to preface that, like I said earlier, this is kind of in no man's land a little bit with the radars. You got various radars across Kentucky. That much we know. I wish we could have a radar in every city so we could get a bird's eye view at the absolute lowest levels of every thunderstorm that's out there. That's just obviously not going to happen, certainly not feasible. But this is in an area where 4 different radars kind of overshoot this area. So it's really hard for the radar to see the low levels of a thunderstorm, which is what you're looking at for a tornado, right? That's where you want to see if there's spin. So we're looking at this maybe a couple of spins showing up with this. You got a little hot spot here southwest of Columbia, and then just to the south of the Adair County line in the northern parts of Cumberland County. That is going to continue to lift its way to the northeast. We also, while yes, focusing on this tornado warning, we got to look at all the storms that are out there. That thunderstorm here just to the north of Somerset into Pulaski County is beginning to flex a little bit. Eastern Kentucky, listen, we don't have the dynamics in place that we've got to our west. I can't rule out a scattered severe thunderstorm into the eastern mountains. You just do not have the dynamics in place that central and western parts of Kentucky have, because we're closer to that low of what is left of Beryl coming out of Missouri and heading to the northeast. So there's that tornado warning into western Kentucky, seeing a new severe thunderstorm warning that is coming out here into the Ohio River counties. That is Meade County, and lifting to the northeast, getting into southern parts of Indiana. So we're initially watching that southwestern sky. Why is that? Because the remnant low, what is left of our hurricane, is right here. And you could actually see it. It's right in this area. And looking back, I was doing some research on this before Beryl even hit Texas. And I was trying to find the last time a hurricane that hit Texas wound up coming into our part of the world. Listen, I went back to the 1800s. I only found one other instance of a Texas hurricane as far west as Beryl was of impacting the weather here in Kentucky like it is doing, and that was with Harvey in 2017. It is very uncommon for a landfalling hurricane in Texas to take a track into the Ohio Valley and going to the Great Lakes. So this is kind of the anomaly, but in doing so, it is giving us that severe weather threat across the entire Commonwealth of Kentucky. And the lightning with this storm that is down there across south central Kentucky continues to be absolutely prolific. No additional warnings that are out into western Kentucky as of yet. Let's focus on that tornado warning that is out there. Yep, I called it. Christian Todd counties at until 2:45. Then, of course, we have that tornado warning that is out into parts of the Bluegrass region as well. So we'll look at this storm one more time. Listen, folks, we have tornado warnings in our viewing area. Nothing about what we do at WKYT is more important to us than keeping you safe and keeping you informed, and that's why we're on, and we're going to stay on until there are no tornado warnings that are left. So, not seeing reports yet of any damage coming out of the current warning that is out there into Russell County and Adair County, and as you saw in that last radar sweep that we looked at inside the storm, the overall structure of that with a spin, not as intense as what we had when that warning first popped. So you're seeing what may be a little bit of a weakening trend with this storm, which is really, really good news. You can actually focus on that storm just on the radar. Watch it contract here a little bit. Notice how it is getting smaller and the lightning is starting to come down as well. So this is a tornado warning that, what we got here, 20 minutes for the expiration time on this. You look at this and you're thinking, this may not see that expiration time. This is a good trend. That's what we want to happen. We want this storm to kind of calm down a little bit. It was spinning like crazy coming out of Monroe County, Tompkinsville, and then into Cumberland County, and is now right into southern parts of Adair County. So yeah, you can definitely, as we go in a little closer here, you can definitely see how this storm has weakened a little bit, and what may have kind of done the trick on this. It had to compete with some energy. Watch this storm that just races up into this. So we had a little bit of competition going on. Competition is a good thing for us. You know why? Because it likely weakens those thunderstorms. When they got to fight it out, they're going to weaken a little bit, but still we're under that tornado warning for about the next 16, 17 minutes or so until 3:45 Eastern time. It's 2:45 local time. Russell Springs included in this. Lake Cumberland, you're not. Folks into Cumberland County, listen, that is now just to your north and northeast. Into parts of Columbia, Adair County. I know tornado sirens are likely blaring. They're likely blaring across Russell County as well. This does not include Jamestown. It does include the Russell Springs area, which is right on top of the Cumberland Parkway, or the Cumberland Parkway is right on top of Russell Springs, right? But this storm, I like the trend that we're seeing with this as of now. It is a weakening storm as it continues to make its way into southern parts of Adair County. I'll back out and leave the radar up full, and we will go in and look again to see how those winds are. So the last time we checked on this, we're going to give this storm an MRI, folks. We're going to look at it. We're going to go up close and personal on it, and yep, we are losing that rotation. So the competition is helping us out a little bit. So we don't have that sharp contrast of the colors showing up now into Adair County. This was showing up very well a little bit ago. That's why that National Weather Service issued the tornado warning for this particular cell. But as of now, that rotation has weakened, and it is very, very broad right now. So it is right about in here. That's what we're talking about. To the southwest, he says, of Glens Fork into southern parts of Adair County. So the rotation with that has subsided just a little bit. That is exactly what we like to see. We're continuing to watch additional storms through the area. Shotville here into Pulaski County, southern parts of the Lincoln County area around Waynesburg. That's a thunderstorm that is surging in from south to north. That'll get into parts of Rockcastle County. Right now, nothing about that is concerning. And again, into eastern Kentucky, just some isolated thunderstorms. Tornado warning into northern Tennessee. That's what we're talking about. Look at the real estate and how much span you got in between these storms. I mean, you got what, 100 miles or so between the tornado warning that is out into the Russell Springs area and the tornado warnings that are out into western Kentucky. This is the concern as we go through the evening. It's these individual storms that are popping up in a sheared environment. A sheared environment, folks, is just a way we talk about with the winds that are changing direction and speed from the ground level to the top of those thunderstorms or to the base of those thunderstorms. We're just getting those winds to start to set those clouds off to spinning just a little bit. Those thunderstorms, that is the environment where you can get quick hitting weak tornadoes. Let's hope so on weak tornadoes. But the threat across central and western Kentucky continues to be noted. All of that courtesy of the spin that is coming out of southeastern parts of Missouri. This is what is left of what was once a powerful Category 5 hurricane. Think about this. 2 weeks ago, this spin started off the coast of Africa. It made its way through the Caribbean, through Jamaica, through the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, into the Gulf of Mexico, into Texas, and now, after a 2-week life cycle, essentially, from Africa into the United States and then right on into the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes. You typically don't see a track like that impacting Kentucky's weather. That's not the case right now. So there you go into much of the region with that tornado warning that is out across southern Kentucky. I noticed the Christian and Todd County tornado warning has expired or at least has been called off by the National Weather Service. So those quick hit, you're going to likely see some very quick hitting tornado warnings out of this because the rotation shows up with one radar sweep and then a couple more sweeps go by and the rotation is gone. So it's going to be tough to pinpoint exactly where those storms decide they want to spin. Here's your tornado watch that is out. And as I commented earlier, this is one of the bigger tornado watches you're ever going to see in terms of real estate. We got Covington, Cincinnati. You got Lexington, you got Richmond, down to Rockcastle County, Pulaski County, McCreary County, and then west. And that goes all the way to the Mississippi River. That's a hefty box. Gets into parts of southern Ohio and southern parts of Indiana, all the way down into parts of Tennessee. Tornado warning into north central parts of Tennessee. Tornado warning into south central Kentucky. Severe thunderstorm warning, Meade County. Boy, it's a small one. You got to squint to see that one. But all these thunderstorms continue to spin up across the area. So up close and personal, this thunderstorm, this is the one prompting that tornado warning that is out 245 for Adair, Cumberland, and Russell counties. And that is going to continue to be the one to keep a very close eye on as it makes its way to the northwest. Just checking to see if we have any kind of report so far. Nothing coming in. And we'll see if they're going to keep this warning going. It only has about 13 more minutes, I believe, until 3:45 on that. So, yeah, just south of Columbia. That's the area we continue to watch as of right now. for this possible tornado. And you can see on the radar here, man, oh man, that is certainly a shrinking thunderstorm that is out there, and that's going to continue to be the case as we go through the next little bit. Is that storm, you want it to shrink because that means it is weakening as it makes its way into southern parts of Adair County. There may be a little hail with that heading toward Russell Springs. I know right now we're likely starting to hear the tornado sirens. If we haven't already, I mean, we should if we have the tornado sirens that are in these areas, and I know we do, because this warning has been out now for about 20 minutes or so, with the possibility that this storm contains a tornado. Quick look inside to see what we are dealing with right now. And yeah, not a whole heck of a lot. That little area that is on the southwestern tip of this storm, you can see all the different radar sweeps we got going by. Folks, we got access to every radar across the United States. So we could take you down to the Gulf Coast, we can go to the West Coast, we can go to Alaska and Hawaii if we want to. But of course, we handle Kentucky. Here's that little bit of a spin that is out there. It's broad, nothing that is expansive, and it's, again, on the southwestern edge of this as it continues to drift its way to the northeast. So if you've got some loved ones that live along or very close to the Cumberland Parkway between Russell Springs and Columbia, you may want to check on them. Just give them a heads up. Hey, tornado warning for your area. Nothing spotted as of yet, but do us a solid and get to your safe shelter and protect your noggin. Easy enough for me to say, huh? Protect your head above all else as you seek shelter into these particular areas. Here's the Lake Cumberland area. It is summertime. I know we're a few days after that big 4th of July weekend, but I guarantee you the lake on a day like this was pretty packed. This is just to our north right now. So right on top of Lake Cumberland, I think we're okay, but into the northern part of Russell County, that's where we're going to continue to see this storm rolling its way to the north and northeast. So with this tornado warning, you got 11 more minutes on it. We'll see if it gets to that 345 life cycle or lifespan. It may get dropped a little earlier. I don't think this gets extended. This may wind up being a severe thunderstorm warning that is extended a little deeper into areas of Casey County, maybe Pulaski County. So out ahead of that, we're going to keep an eye on this thunderstorm around Shopville into the Waynesburg area, southern parts of Lincoln County. I told you, eastern Kentucky, we don't have the dynamics in place that our neighbors to the west have. Into central Kentucky, dynamics are Western Kentucky, and by Western Kentucky, I'm going to say, let's go to the Interstate 65 corridor. Those are the areas, and especially closer to the Louisville metro down to E-Town, places like that, where the dynamics are better. You've got much more shear available in the atmosphere for tornadoes to spin up. So for central Kentucky, the Lexington metro, we're kind of on the eastern edge of that. We're on the eastern edge of where the air really wants to produce some tornadoes. Eastern Kentucky, you're on the outside looking in as of right now, and we certainly hope that that continues to be the case. New tornado warning here with that cell. Same cell, I think, that came out of Christian and Todd County. That is just to the northwest of Bowling Green. Small little cell. If we look closely at it, you don't even see any lightning showing up with that particular storm as of now. But back here into western Kentucky, see this line of some thunderstorms that is going up. You got another one just to the east of that. That is just ahead of the center of circulation with what is left of our former hurricane. This is Beryl, tropical depression becoming an extratropical low right now, rolling its way right on top of the Mississippi River and points to the north. Out ahead of that, we got a warm front essentially draped just to the north of the Ohio River, a weak front that is extending now south of the remnant low, and it is right in this area where that triple point is, and out ahead of that, where the low pressure, the cold front, the warm front meet up, that triple point ahead of it, where you get the maximum amount of spin in the atmosphere, and that's where the Storm Prediction Center put that tornado watch that is out across just about the entire section of all of central and western Kentucky, almost the entire Commonwealth outside of the eastern part of the state, and down into parts of Tennessee. And if you look closely enough, you notice those are almost like feeder bands you get with a hurricane. Well, it's not a hurricane, it's a former hurricane. So you're getting these spiraling bands of showers and thunderstorms that are extending into this whole mess that is out across western Kentucky. I want to highlight that small little tornado warning out there into the western part of the state as well, into Muhlenberg County and a small area of Muhlenberg County. But again, that system that we're keeping a close eye on is in to parts of south central Kentucky right now. They've tightened up that tornado warning just a little more, and I think we've removed Cumberland County from that, so I'm going to go ahead and take that out, and we'll refocus that tornado warning for parts of Adair County and Russell County. That'll go until 2:45, but the worst of that storm is now right on top of the Russell and Adair County line. I don't know that this is going to get extended any deeper into the afternoon. Looks like the warning is going to be allowed to expire. So good news there, and I think that is the right call, because what we're seeing with this is a shrinking thunderstorm as it's getting now toward the eastern edge of where the best dynamics are for a tornado. But still, they're going to ride this tornado warning out for about 6.5 more minutes, and until that tornado warning expires, hey, we're going to ride it out with you as well. So here is the Glens Fork area. This storm is a shell of its former self. Thank goodness. We had a little competition with that. I'll broaden this out and show you what I mean. Watch that little thunderstorm that shoots out of the Burkesville area ahead of this, and it kind of comes in there, and once it meets up with that storm, notice how it weakened it. It basically killed the supercell characteristics of it as it incorporated that weaker thunderstorm into the mix. So, yeah, not to say that can't flare back up and get some rotation at some point a little later on, but as of now, we had that thunderstorm being incorporated into that, and it essentially just messed up the whole flow, and that is a good kind of a mess up, because that means we took care of the rotation. And we look at this storm, nothing about this is getting my attention right now in terms of any kind of rotation with that. So good news on that one, but we're going to ride it out until that warning is allowed to expire. Additional thunderstorms back here into western Kentucky. I mentioned that Muhlenberg County storm. Look at this. You have no lightning with this shower that has a tornado warning with it. You don't often see that too much. You know where you see that a lot? With a landfalling tropical system. Well, this is a post-landfalling tropical system, but that's what we are dealing with as of right now. Just for curiosity's sake, let's go in there and see into Muhlenberg County, and you can see just a small little spin that is showing up right here. So that's why that tornado warning was issued with this shower, this tropical shower that is in Muhlenberg County. No lightning with that. Notice it's got some friends with it down toward the Russellville area and points south and southwest from there. All this going to continue to just feed on in from southwest to northeast around the remnant low, what is left of once Category 5. This was the earliest Category 5 hurricane in recorded history, and I believe it broke the old record by 17 days in terms of being the earliest in recorded history. This became a Category 5, July 1st or 2nd, I believe, something like that, give or take a little bit. Weakening after hitting the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, but then regaining hurricane strength right before it came onshore into Texas. So your low is right about in this area right now. So out ahead of that is where you've got the maximum amount of shear available in the atmosphere. Right in here. The air, anything that goes up, shower, thunderstorm-wise, is going to be spinning. And that rotation can quickly produce those hit and run tornadoes that are going to be really, really hard to get long duration warnings out for, and a long lead time for a tornado warning, because one scan may all of a sudden show that quick spin up. 2 scans later of the radar, that thing is gone. You may go from nothing to a quick spin up of a tornado. So just keep that in mind. We'll even treat every severe thunderstorm warning as if it could produce a tornado right now. Severe thunderstorms and tornadoes possible in this area where you see the red. That is a tornado watch that goes until midnight. Lexington, Richmond, Frankfort, Danville, we're in this. Somerset, okay, London, we're not, but you know what? We're close enough. Likewise here into Corbin and Williamsburg, but points to the west from there, all the way back into western Kentucky. Fulton County is the only county into western Kentucky that is not included in that tornado watch. How about that? Goes until midnight tonight. So a little bumpy this evening for many areas. Current warnings that are out, tornado warnings, Muhlenberg County. We still have that lone dog of a tornado warning into south central Kentucky, Adair County, and into Russell County. That is about to expire in just a couple minutes, and as soon as that expires, folks, we'll get you back to just a few minutes of your programming before WKYT News at 4 o'clock starts. Western Kentucky with a severe thunderstorm warning, a rare severe thunderstorm warning into Meade County. I think this is one of those setups you're going to see more in the way of tornado warnings than severe thunderstorm warnings. Tornado warnings, the tornado threat is the absolute greatest that we are facing here across the region, and especially the western half of Kentucky. First Alert Radar Network, going to be a busy one. Watch these little supercell thunderstorms start to flare up out here into western Kentucky. Bowling Green to Owensboro, Hopkinsville. They're teeny tiny, and that cell into Muhlenberg County. The warning just expired for that, but hey, it just got some lightning. So it is growing up into a full-blown thunderstorm right before our very eyes. That spin, though, associated with the remnants of Beryl getting close to Carbondale, Illinois, and that line of thunderstorms rolling through Paducah, that's what's going to eventually roll across central and eastern Kentucky as we get a little later on into your evening. But good news here into Adair and Russell County. That tornado warning is set to expire in just a little more than 1 minute. You want to see a storm that really did a disappearing act. Watch how quickly that storm decreases. You could see the lightning all of a sudden go down with it. That is a telltale sign that it was ready to collapse, and it is doing so right now. Does not mean it can all of a sudden stage a comeback as it heads toward Casey County. We'll keep a very close eye on that if you're into Liberty, northwestern parts of Pulaski County as well. And we're on the air because of this lone tornado warning. New tornado warning here into western Kentucky just popping with that same storm out of Muhlenberg County. And that is going to be for Butler and Ohio counties until 3:30 Central Time, obviously 4:30 Eastern Time. That's Central Time Zone out there. So that is a brand new tornado warning with that cell that continues to lift its way into parts of western Kentucky. All of these storms, individual storms, are racing from southwest to northeast. The lines from western Kentucky are coming in from east to west. So yes, the weather is going to be moving in from east to west, but the individual thunderstorms are going to be going more south, east to north, or southwest to northeast, and then eventually we're going to shift that to more of a southerly and a southwesterly direction as the evening wears on. So that tornado warning is now expired into southern Kentucky. Keep it right here on WKYT. Of course, we got a First Alert Weather Day and team coverage coming your way in just a few minutes on WKYT at 4. See you then.